It's our final show from Radio Row here in New Orleans at Super Bowl 59. Vibes at an all-time high, despite the Cardinals owner being in the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Plus, we've got an exclusive with Riddick. He's here to talk about Kyler Murray and if the Arizona Cardinals should draft another quarterback. His answer might surprise you. Final day from Radio Row starts now. Hello and welcome in live from Radio Row in sunny New Orleans, site of the Super Bowl. It's PHNX Cardinals, your premier Arizona Cardinal #1 podcast. Drop a like, leave us a comment. I'm Johnny Venerable, my co-host here in New Orleans. Brack, Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. Tons of guests, tons of stuff to talk about. But first, our presenting sponsor on this final day in NOLA is, of course, our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Find out why, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with Bet365. An ordinary day here on a football Super Bowl Friday, Brack.
That's right. Get your props in. Get your bets in with Bet365. We've got our holder fold the line, the final holder fold the line
Sad
of the year. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Bittersweet, as some would say. But look, we're going to get into some conversation as far as the Cardinals franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
It's kind of something we don't talk about too much on this show.
No, we had taken a break and now we're back into it. Plus, our thoughts on what's going on with team president and owner Michael Bidwell.
Yeah.
After the latest lawsuit that had been filed by what appears to be his former personal assistant.
That's right.
With the Arizona Cardinals, people asking our thoughts on that. We're going to discuss that.
Yeah, and then maybe some awkward interactions with some good receivers.
Yes.
That happened last night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can cut that out. We don't need to talk about that. Also, Albert Breer joins the show. We're going to talk to him about, well, frankly, I'm going to fanboy out on Jack Sawyer. We're going to talk Ohio State.
Captain Jack.
Justin Fry. So, plus Matt Harmon of Yahoo Sports is going to stop by and talk about what the Cardinals need to do to make sure Marvin Harrison Jr. has a booming second year, Bo.
Yeah, I love Matt Harmon. I love what he brings to the table as far as his opinions. But he takes it from like looking at it as far as like a fantasy football type opportunistic spot.
Yeah.
So get a little greedy there.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I want to get greedy. But we're going to kick things off. Riddick joined the program earlier this week. And this is about as good as it gets as it relates to insight on the Arizona Cardinals. If you remember Lewis and company, they did the Monday Night Football game ahead of the Chargers. Came away really impressed with Jonathan Gannon. But, of course, the topic of discussion with the ESPN standout, of course, the franchise quarterback, Kyler Murray. Here's Riddick on Radio Row.
Fresh off the Senior Bowl and out here with their incredible coverage on ESPN, it's NFL analyst Riddick. He joins us here on PHNX Cardinals. Lewis, how's it going, man? You're kind of running the gauntlet. Mobile here. You'll be at the Combine shortly.
Yeah, this is that time of year, man, where you kind of have – I really wouldn't say a lull. I mean, you don't really have any lull until June or July. But now it's about to really ramp up and you're about to change your focus. It's going to be about team building now for the next 3-4 months, which is really cool. It's a whole different conversation. There's a lot of thirst out there. People want to know, as soon as this game's over, well, quite honestly, there's 30 teams right now who really don't give a damn about what happens in this game.
Yeah.
They're like, how does our team get better next year?
We cover one of those teams.
Yeah, exactly. So people want to just talk about that now for the next 3-4 months, and that's cool. I kind of like that too.
Lewis, before we jump into the Cardinals, the rumor that we keep hearing from a lot of people is Stafford's not a lock to go back to the Rams. Are you in that camp? I feel like that's that's right?
No, I've heard that, and I think there may have been maybe some consideration about that, but look, Sean's not going to let him go. I don't know if Matthew wants to change teams now for a second time, and he's in a real good spot out there. They'll get that worked out from a money perspective. That guy's a Hall of Famer. That guy, you know what? I'll tell you what. he may be he may have the most talented arm in the NFL. Now, when you put it all together because of what Patrick does and how he has affected Kansas City, he's going to go, like right now, you could probably say he's the most talented quarterback to ever play the game. Matthew may be the most pure thrower you've ever seen. Remember, Matthew Stafford was throwing no-look passes before Patrick Mahomes got in the league.
Yeah, right.
So that dude's a bad dude now. He ain't going anywhere. He'll be in L.A.
Let's keep talking about talented quarterbacks because the Arizona Cardinals have one that has some of the most talent in the NFL. Arm talent. He can move.
Yep.
Kyler Murray. But how does he take his game to the next level?
With Kyler, it's always – all right, look, so the running game, the passing game, the consistency of the coaching staff, like all those things are things that are really not in his control that that need to be like rock solid in order for quarterbacks to take it to the next level like you're talking about, which is to help a team win in a big spot, in a big way, winning division titles, getting into the playoffs, making it to championship games. Those are a lot of the things that have to be the foundation of what happens. For Kyler himself, look, in the biggest of moments, he has to be able to lock in and play his biggest in the best moments like the best quarterbacks do. And I don't really know how, what the secret is for him to do that. Some of that stuff is just intrinsic. Some of that stuff you're born with. Some people have that clutch, that ability to, okay, you know what? There's 3 minutes left in the game. I got to take my team 70 yards. We have one timeout. I'm going to make every right decision here, and I'm going to get the ball to the right guy. There are certain guys that just do that automatically. And they also have coaches who put them in great positions. Does Kyler have all that around him in order to make sure that he can execute in those kinds of ways? There's always been talk surrounding Kyler as far as, is he the alpha leader that you need that gets everyone else to raise their game in those big moments so they're where they need to be so everyone can kind of like help drive this bus to the promised land together? There's always been question about whether or not he's that guy. And I've known it because I've been down there a couple of times to call games down there, and that conversation's always circling around him. Fair or not, it's always circling around him. That's never circled around Patrick. That never circles around Josh. That never circles around Lamar. That never circles around Joe Burrow. Now, I know you're going to say, well, the only one who you just mentioned that's won Super Bowls is Patrick Mahomes. Well, you're right. He's a unicorn. He's a freak. He's different. But these other guys, you would also say are in a different tier, and then there's Kyler. In order to get into that tier with Joe and Lamar and Josh and them, like some of those questions, he has to kind of put that to rest somehow, some way.
How does he do that? Like, how does he keep himself from having these late season lulls that we used to, frankly, Lewis, associate with Cliff Kingsbury?
Right.
Is it an indictment at K1 now that Cliff goes to Washington, albeit with the best rookie quarterback maybe of all time? And they're a quarter, 2 quarters away from the Super Bowl. Yeah,
see, that's what I'm saying. See, some of it is going to have to, he's going to have to really look inward and put some of that on himself and say, hey, look, what am I doing as far as my preparation, my attention to detail, my resiliency, staying power late in the season to be able to make sure that I'm not drifting. I'm doing everything I need to do, taking care of my body, my mind, my preparation, all that stuff, getting guys to making sure guys are doing the right things too. And see, that stuff is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, man, to play 18 games and be on top of it every single freaking time.
Yeah.
And that's why those guys playing games like this, that they're going to be playing on Sunday. I don't know. A lot of that comes with, like I said, some self-examination, self-reflection, and go, who do you really want to be? What do you really want to be? You know, Tom Brady has one of the greatest quotes ever when he did his Hall of Fame speech, or rather, when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame at the Patriots. Mm-hmm. And he says, you know, being great, I'm paraphrasing, but being great and being one of the all-time greats, you don't always have to be the most talented.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to do what 99% of people in this world are not willing to do, which is just simply be consistent. And that is so damn true. I try to tell my kids that, and they're just kind of like, yeah, okay, Dad, be consistent. We get it. Work hard. Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, don't believe me. Here, I'll just show you this Tom Brady video. And they go, that's too long. You know, that's not a 20-second clip. I can't, but you know what I mean? But that's what it is.
Let me ask you a quick question, then we know you got to go. Should the Cardinals consider taking a developmental quarterback this year?
You know what? A developmental quarterback, like, what are the chances of that guy being better than what Kyler Murray could give you? When you're talking about developmental, I don't know. Should they take a guy who, like I was just talking to you about before we got started, should they take a guy like Tyler Shuck from Louisville? Yeah, I'm going to keep beating this drum, by the way.
Okay.
This guy's going to wind up watch. I'm just saying Tyler Shuck, Shough. It looks like show, but it's Shuck. That's how you pronounce it. I don't know. There's always, it's few and far between that you hit on a guy like that winds up being a franchise caliber guy. I mean, you're probably kind of like looking for a needle in a haystack to think you're going to find someone developmental that's going to be better than what Kyler could ultimately be. A lot of times when you find franchise quarterbacks, it's because by some like weird alignment of the stars, some great player becomes available via free agency or a trade, or because you stink so bad that you're picking in the top 2 or 3. And the Cardinals they're not in either one of those positions. So I don't know if that really gets you to where you want to go anyway. And it's just a shame, like, because there really isn't anything Kyler can't do that these other quarterbacks can do. There's nothing. It's like in here. It's that fourth quarter focus, 2 minutes left in the game. Can you do it? He has to examine that himself.
Yeah. Gannon's a Louisville guy. Shuck's a Louisville guy. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll tell you what. I love John Gannon. He is. I mean, he
great
can be
leader.
Intense. I really like him. I really like.
Can they win big with him?
I think they can. I think they can. And his messaging sometimes will have people going, "Whoa," But I like that. I like it because he really cares.
Yeah,
he cares.
Players
man.
love him.
Yep. So I'm hoping the best for him.
Incredible insight, of course, from Louis Riddick, ESPN. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the time in NOLA. We'll see you at the Combine.
Thanks for having me on.
Combine, man.
Of course.
Thank you.
A lot to break down from that interview with Louis Riddick. We'll do that next, right here at PHNX Cardinals. Got to tell you about our friends over at Colt Cannabis True Leave. You're looking for something to get into this evening, this weekend, every day. Colt Cannabis True Leave. They're giving you the cannabis products that you can rely upon, especially that flower that everybody's seeking. They've got that magic marker strand. It's been everybody's been seeking that out for so long. And True Leave and of course, Colt Cannabis, they're making it available at your local True Leave around the Valley of the Sun. Valley has been asking for, and she's been back, and it's been around the PHNX studios. Great flower, so hard to find these days, and luckily our friends over at Colt Cannabis are making it easy and dropping absolute fire here, PHNX studios and your local True Leave. True Leave obviously has that magic marker strand, and they've also got a brand new location in Maricopa. You need to check out if that's your just a little spot in the Valley. Of course, they've got other Valley locations, like one right down the street from our studios in downtown Phoenix, 7th Street in Roosevelt. You can find a True Leave near you. That's trueleave.com. Find your local shop, and then find, of course, that Colt Cannabis flower that everybody's seeking. Colt Cannabis and True Leave. Tell them your friends at PHNX Sports sent you.
Yeah, I'll send you on over to Circle K. Want to save some money in America's thirst stop? Join the free Inner Circle.
Door.
Yeah, they're tremendous. They do tremendous work in terms of saving us money with their premier products, inside and out, exclusive deals, discounts, and more. If you're a newest member of the Inner Circle, first of all, what took you so long? Also, welcome, friends. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every single day. Again, go inside. They've got all you have to do, pull up the app and look under deals and just start scrolling down. You'll see a plethora of deals to help save you money on items you may or may not be aware of.
I love a plethora of deals.
I love it too, right? Thirst has met its match. Again, join the Inner Circle for free right now by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. I'll tell you what I could use right now.
Yeah.
A Circle K extra large coffee.
That would give us life.
This is friends. It's not getting it done.
No,
respectfully.
This is nice effort.
Damon's got an iced coffee. Didn't offer to get us one. Went rogue and got that. We're upstairs, and the media room's great.
Oh.
But this is
coming at you right now.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is finished by the time I get to the staircase, and I'm sitting here lumbering.
Can I be honest with you, Johnny?
Yeah.
They don't have drink carriers over there. I asked yesterday. I got 3 drinks for me, Shane, and Emma already. I didn't have the capacity for even to hold one more.
It's weird. I don't see Shane or Emma on this show.
I don't either.
Now.
I don't either.
Super weird.
It's great. I appreciate their efforts behind the scene, but
I'll keep looking, I guess.
Seems like the talent left out on this one.
Production crew deserves it, man.
I'm going to be real with you. I haven't seen Shane for a good long while now.
You think he ran away?
Yeah, I think he's done.
Yeah. I just need to say real quick that my coffee ordering experience was an absolute battle. I mean, I stood up there explaining what I wanted my 3 drinks to be, which were all the same for at least 5 minutes.
Hey,
it was unbelievable.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Can I just say that?
I deserve a medal of honor for that.
Breaking down Louis Riddick's interview, which I thought, first of all, that came about kind of abruptly, and man, we're so glad we were able to welcome him on our show, and he was available.
Yeah,
because he's one of our favorites, and we didn't know if he was going to be available. And he put together like 7 minutes of probably the most cut and dry Cardinal analysis that you can get.
Yeah.
And just saying a lot of things that a lot of Cardinal fans are saying. It's just like, we know Kyler Murray's got all the talent in the world to do this, but it's that extra oomph, that 10%. Where does it got to come from?
Right.
It's not going to come from off-season work, in my opinion. It's not going to come from social media clips and TikTok and whatever. Like you've said it many times, he's going to be evaluated what he does when the season's on the line in the fourth quarter, and this year he fell short.
It's long overdue that Louis Riddick is a general manager of an NFL team.
Yeah.
And when he gives his opinion, it's from the standpoint of a team builder.
Yeah.
And it's a nuanced, well thought out opinion. It's not hot takes. It's not when Kyler Murray throws an interception in a game and people are saying it's been 6 years, get rid of him. Or it's like, hey, we need this, and this to just happen. And you know, this thing's going to click. He's given it like as far as where he needs to improve, where things needs to change as far as his game to get on track and continue on as the franchise quarterback.
You know, to me, the consistent theme that we've heard this week is Cardinals are set with Kyler Murray. If you pivot off of him, who are you going to get? And, you know, Dan Orlovsky broke it down yesterday. He's somewhere on any given Sunday between like quarterbacks like 8 to 16.
It's such an emotional roller coaster.
It is. And that's
like the sliding scale between 15 to he was playing top 5. And you're just like, man, like with that type of potential, with that skill set, and you see it, it becomes frustrating that you can't get it enough.
It's not quarterback purgatory in the sense of like you're not a terrible team.
Right.
But the quarterbacks that he mentioned, the quarterback that won MVP in the NFL and Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Now, thankfully, they're all in the AFC. Like, what will it take for him to get there? And a lot of fans feel like that will never happen.
I don't even know if that's the fair ask right now. Like,
it's
I think
not.
The fair ask is to get to Baker
Mayfield.
Exactly. What? Have you just become best friends? Wow.
Baker Mayfield
we just
winning the division.
There's so much room for activities.
We just said Baker Mayfield at the same time.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah, it is gross.
It is sad.
But look, I think it's absolutely fair at this point. I hope we look back at him like, remember when there was lingering questions about Kyler Murray, and then he was able to really kind of move forward from that and put together, 2, 3, 4 solid seasons, and people are thinking he's come such a long way. Like he put it together. He finally put it together, and if he does that, we understand the benefits that you will receive as Cardinals fans. It's going to mean playoff appearances. It's going to mean a couple wins in the postseason, and then maybe who knows where you could go with that.
Baker Mayfield through 6 seasons. His last season, well, no, I'm sorry. It was through 5 seasons.
Yeah.
With 3 different teams. And then in his 6th year, and Kyler Murray has played 6 seasons, but he's missed time with an ACL. Tampa Bay, these last 2 years, he's played in all 34 games. He's got almost flipping 9,000 yards passing.
Yeah.
If I'm doing my math correctly, 69 touchdowns to 26 interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been unbelievable.
Yes.
And now you think about where this franchise is for Tampa. It's like we're going to extend him. He's 29 years old. He's in a great spot.
Yeah.
So it is the bar here for Kyler Murray. It's like, can you be the equivalent of the guy that was drafted right before you, a year before Baker Mayfield? And I do love, like, Louis Riddick likes Kyler Murray, wants to see Kyler Murray succeed, just like this podcast.
Yeah.
I think there's like a misconception where there's tiers to not only the quarterback hierarchy in the NFL, but there's almost also tiers to the Kyler Murray fandom, support, hatred, whatever you want to call it. There are people that have never been in his camp based on his height, right? Based on other factors. Then there's people maybe toward the middle, like, let's see what you do. Can you have success? we're kind of going backwards and forwards, video game clause. And then there are just people that are like, just support him because we'll never have anything better. And I think for the Arizona Cardinals and their fan base, it's always important to kind of keep an open mind here.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, as Lewis put it, and Orlovsky, are not going to be in a position to have the #1 overall pick, and we're very blessed for that. Those are horrible years. It was a rough year 2 years ago when he didn't play most of the year.
Yes.
But now it's like, okay, are you better off with a guy that's going to give you Alex Smith level production, and you're going to build the roster up, and maybe there's some postseason success there? I say at least in the short term, yes. Like you have to take incremental steps as a franchise, and right now you haven't been in the playoffs since 2021. Baker Mayfield's been in the playoffs back-to-back years. He won a playoff game last year, almost won a playoff game this year. Yeah. So I think that, unfortunately,
and that's going to become his narrative.
Right.
But good job on him getting out of the, hey, can this guy be a quarterback, like a franchise quarterback? Because there was big-time questions surrounding him. I mean, there was barely a handful of teams that would take a chance on him.
Yeah.
And he landed in, like, we were looking at as like Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask. You know, this is the worst quarterback competition going, and then he comes and he takes the reins. He throws for 28 touchdowns in 2023 and then throws for 41 in 2024 and 4,500 yards. And he's on his eighth. He's going on his eighth play caller, now going in his eighth season, which is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. So, like, to say, like, well, you know, there hasn't been continuity as far as play calling. It's like, well, look at Baker's been able to overcome it, and I don't think he's, like, the exception to the rule either.
Part of me, and again, we're gonna drop some like shameless like plugs here, but we were at an event last night.
Yeah.
There were some marquee quarterbacks there, and they were there to do like one or two things: meet and greet people, right, and like interact with folks, personable, and they're guys that a lot of us would put in Kyler Murray's tier or right around there.
Yeah,
and I sat there and I looked at Damon and I'm like, is Kyler Murray capable of like doing this and being with a group of people for 2+ hours and putting on a show? And it's like, yeah, that doesn't make a great quarterback. But when you hear the things that Lewis says, and so much that heavy wears the crown with that position, it still feels like he's missing some of those attributes. And these quarterbacks have had postseason success. They've won division titles. They've won playoff games. And I think if you ask casual fans, I can just say the quarterbacks, I guess, probably.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was Dak Prescott and Jordan Love. I think a lot of us coming into this year is like, oh, Kyler Murray's better than those quarterbacks. But it's like that extra 10% that it takes it's beyond athletic ability. It's that connection, that human connection, that drive to get people to want to follow you, right?
Right.
And again, we're not even talking about those heavy hitters in the AFC.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see when challenged by the new coaching staff and the new front office to see the response, because I really do think, to his credit, Kyler Murray has responded as a leader on this team.
Yeah.
You can't deny the competitor that he's there. I don't think there's anybody in that locker room that's more competitive, and it's loaded with competitors. But you're right. I don't think outside of that, as far as what you're talking about, there's anybody challenging him. It actually looks like the previous regime and how they handled him is like, well, we're going to put him in a position where he's comfortable. He's in the shotgun. He's comfortable in the shotgun. We're going to run the spread. He's run the spread his entire life. And it's just like, okay, that fits him, but is that going to make him the best? Is that going to push him to be the best quarterback he could be?
I'm at the point now, and I'll probably get hate for this, and that's all right. Like, this is just my opinion. Like, the more I think about it, it's like, would Kyler Murray be best served for the Cardinals to draft a quarterback and bring a quarterback into that quarterback room? And would that light an additional fire under K1? Is that ridiculous to say?
The only issue I have with that is, like, you really are, like, the quarterback it's going to be. I don't know, like, if you can really create a true, like, threat of competition with this draft class.
Wait,
I get the concept.
Yeah, because remember when Rodgers people thought he was about done, right? And he was having a couple middling seasons for him. Jordan Love was drafted, right? And a lot of people thought that's an overdraft and he's not as talented as Rodgers. And Rodgers came out and had his best years of his career. Same with Brady, with Garoppolo once upon a time. I know it's not apples to oranges. Alex Smith had a career year with Mahomes.
But those are first-round guys. Those are first-round guys, you know? I loved what Riddick was saying about Tyler Shuck. He's going to be good, right? He's going to be...
Are we going to go into a practice with Kyler Murray and Jalen Milroe, and is it going to be an embarrassment? Like, putting Jalen Milroe next to Kyler Murray, and Kyler's like, guys, what are we doing here? Why do we waste a second-round pick on this guy? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. In a perfect world, I do think that that's something where if Kyler Murray is who we hope he is, like, he would look at that and be like, hell yeah, let's game on. I'm ready for a challenge. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, if we're complacent with statistics and 500 seasons, maybe it's the extra motivation. Baker Mayfield had to go and compete for a job, as you just mentioned. Had to go to Tampa Bay. We got some guests coming up here.
Yeah, we are going to go into our conversation here with we're going to get into it with Albert Breer.
Yeah.
Let's do some Albert Breer conversation. The Ohio State pipeline is as strong as it's ever been. Breer's dialed in there and really dialed in with the new regime with the Cardinals. Let's hear what Bert Breer had to say.
Monday morning quarterback, our guy Albert Breer, NFL insider, talking a little Justin Fry, jumping over from Ohio State to the Arizona Cardinals. What can you tell us about the Ohio State standouts?
Well, he's done a really good job developing talent there. I think you see it, and obviously there's a relationship there with him and Paris Johnson. That year he came in and I think got the most out of a couple of really talented tackles in Paris and DeJuan Jones, who's now going to, in all likelihood, be the starting left tackle for the Browns next year. And then I think after that, like, they had kind of filtered through a bunch of different answers and misses in recruiting, and I think Justin Simmons is another guy to look at who, may have wound up being the first tackle drafted this year if he hadn't torn his patella tendon in October. He still probably is a first-round pick. So the job he did developing talent, I don't think is questioned. There were some questions about recruiting, but obviously in the NFL it doesn't really matter.
I want to get your take on Marvin Harrison Jr.'s rookie season. We had Brian Hartline on our show, and you hear about the way guys like Jackson Smith-Njigba and Garrett Wilson talk about Marv. Yeah. And then you watch his rookie season transpire, and it wasn't Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr., but it was still productive. 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. Like, where are you at with his development and where it could go in 2025?
Yeah, I think he's had a little longer ways to go than maybe some people realized. And, a guy like him who's been able to get that by an athletic ability probably needed a little bit more polish to his game. I think part of that's getting stronger, which will naturally happen, and dealing with certain types of coverage and certain types of corners. But he'll be fine. They still have 900 yards. It wouldn't surprise me at all if, based on his work ethic, and I know how seriously he takes it, if he winds up taking a big leap in year 2. I don't think it's anything that's unfixable.
I'm a big Jack Sawyer guy on our show. The Cardinals have gone Ohio State back-to-back years in the first round. Where do you feel like Jack Sawyer is in terms of his ceiling in the NFL? Because there's a pretty loaded pass rush class.
I would have thought day 2 was probably where he's landing, but after the job he did in the playoffs, obviously he has the big splash moment, against Texas in the Cotton Bowl, but he was really playing that way throughout the playoffs, and he really, turned it on and played his ass off against Tennessee in the first round, was a game changer against Oregon in the second round, played great against Notre Dame. So he may have played his way into the bottom of the first round. The question with him is going to be where the upside is as a pass rusher, but, regardless, I think the floor is high. You're going to get a good football player. Whether or not he becomes a superstar, I think is the question.
Albert Breer, the best.
Captain Jack Sawyer, first-round caliber player, according to our guy Albert Breer. I had to go rogue on that interview because I couldn't have Bo screwing that up with the love fest for Captain Jack.
Well, and you wave that flag more proudly than I do, no doubt about it.
That Ohio State flag.
It's the pirate flag, though. It's the Captain Jack Sawyer pirate flag.
That's Johnny W. right there.
Is it?
I think so. Not that Breer isn't biased, but
he's so biased.
No, even what he said, I'm not bought on. It's like, so is he going to reach on him at 16? No. Or is he going to trade down? He said he played himself into the bottom of the first round.
I think he's fair game any pick after 20. I think you could be comfortable with that. and he said that he was probably a second-round pick, and then he dominated the playoff.
Okay.
He dominated
He
Texas.
played well in the playoff.
He closed games out to win a natty. Cardinals could use some of that to close some games out. We got more from Radio Row right around the corner. It's PHNX Cardinals. We're cashing in with big guests this week. You can cash in with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union, the official credit union of the Arizona Cardinals, PHNX Sports, and the Venerable household. I'm going to tell you right now, I've been throwing around my Arizona Cardinal, PHNX Cardinal, Desert Financial debit card. I've just been flashing it. People have been seeing it. They're like, oh, what's that? It's been catching people's eye. And I said, the only way you can get this is go to desertfinancial.com/Cardinals to get started. That's because for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicating and creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. And again, they got a team of financial experts that's going to hook you up. This isn't a one-off transaction. This isn't a conveyor belt, right? This is a financial education. Upgrade your acumen today. A checking account, a savings account, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. Plus, if you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with the exclusive debit card branded with your favorite team. And, of course, mine is the Arizona Cardinals. Rep it right now. Open up a free checking account online. Go to desertfinancial.com/Cardinals, Bo, to get started.
Man, that Cardinals debit card, you're a true gentleman, by the way. It's, yeah. Thank you for just wielding that thing around this week here in New Orleans.
You've done your parts. Everybody's done their parts.
They sure have. I mean, Damon didn't get his coffee, but yeah, it's okay. Look, I'm going to get on an airplane and I'm going to fly home, and it's going to be way too late for my wife to come pick me up from the airport, and I got an easy solution for how I'm getting home. I'm going to hail myself a Waymo. We love Waymo. I'm a Waymo guy now. And if you are, one of the many people that are going to ascend onto the TPC at Scottsdale, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, look, get a Waymo. I mean, hail yourself a Waymo. I loved it on my way to the airport. As I said, I became a believer. And it's not just, for Waste Management this weekend. Spring training's going to hit the Valley. It's Waymo's autonomous ride-hailing service consists entirely of the all-electric Jag, which is so nice, so beautiful inside, so relaxing. I enjoyed my entire experience, zero-mission experience for all the riders. Download the Waymo One app today and hail your ride. Get in the Waymo. Get around the Valley in Waymo.
A lot of people think, there's a lot of pressure to sit here on Radio Row, interact, and there is, but how I stay cool under pressure. My friends at Mando, right? It's the men's deodorant.
Cool as a cucumber, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Smelling like a breeze, hyper-focused on keeping my pits, other areas clean, smelling great. I don't think Albert Breer wanted to smell my pits, but if he would have, they would have smelled great. Bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and more. Hey, Mando, let's check it out right now. We're going to save you up to 40% off with our friends at Mando. I love helping people save money on personal hygiene. It's one of my favorite things we get to do here.
It's a hobby of yours.
It is. It's really, it's my personal passion. The Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with the standard. It's a gold standard in my house, the solid stick deodorant. Then they've got the cream tube deodorant. If you want something a little different, the consistency a little different. 2 free products of your choosing. The mini body wash, which I use on the reg. I brought it with me in my duffel bag. Deodorant, wipes, and more. Plus, you're going to get all that for free shipping. Right now, special offer for our listeners, 40% off right now. Use the code PHNX at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Hey, Mando, Shop Mando, please support the show and tell them that PHNX sent you.
Love that from Mando. I love that that's your personal hobby. One thing that we can't not talk about here as we cover the Cardinals on an everyday basis. A week removed from Cardinals owner Michael Bidwell being elected to the Arizona Sports Hall of Fame, which is going to go down April 10th. Just a week later, Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, drops an article about his former personal assistant filing a lawsuit against Michael Bidwell.
Yeah.
And reading through this, just like previous articles and allegations about Cardinals president and owner, there's a lot of unflattering and not great things.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate because every time you're like, man, we're taking 2 steps forward, then we take 3 steps back, right? He got a lot of praise, rightfully so, for stepping up and hosting that playoff game. We're like, okay, we feel really good about it. And everything we've heard from the folks that have been hired from a football standpoint, Michael Bidwell's been great, but the day-to-day operations the people that matter, frankly, that are the bread and butter of your organizations that come to work every day and grind.
Yeah.
Those are the people that I feel like have been consistently taken advantage of and have ill will, right? And she is one of, you could probably get up to double-digit employees now or ex-employees that have come out, and whether it's through suits like this or social media, have been overly critical, to say the least, of the team owner and president, Michael Bidwell. And I know a lot of people are going to come out here and say, sell the team and this, that, and the other. Like, based on what we've read, and again, we're just reacting to this in real time like everybody else, like, I don't think, based on what we know and what happened with Dan Snyder, I don't think that this would warrant the selling of the team.
Yeah, this isn't the smoking gun that's going to push that story forward. It's just another allegation, set of allegations that paint an unflattering picture of the Cardinals owner. And his former assistant, Brittany Neuheisel, according to PFT, filed a wrongful discharge lawsuit against Bidwell and the Cardinals, and it's an 11-page complaint that was filed on Thursday through Maricopa County Superior Court, and PFT obtained it, and includes counts of constructive discharge, wrongful discharge, discrimination based on age, gender, and religion, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. And it's not stuff that, as Brittany Neuheisel worked for the organization from 2019, it's not stuff that you just go back to 2019. There's stuff that's alleged against Bidwell that happened during when the Cardinals in Bidwell was getting positive press for opening up his organization to the Rams when they needed them. And so it was dating back to last month, where she claims that, she didn't want her to help Roger Goodell in the suite. And there's just, where you're right. We're hearing the right things as far as the people who are the higher ups of the Cardinals, from, front office to coaching staff,
the football people.
The football personnel. It just seems like you've got to be better as far as the people who the other people that help this organization run.
Yeah, and what's really unfortunate is, like, after the article from The Athletic, right, that came out, and Michael Bidwell, in hindsight, my comments probably weren't great on our Arizona elections, pod from last week, when I'm like, when I'm like, hey, he took this at face value. He faced it. He said, I got to be better. I'm like, okay, great. Yeah, that's great. Like, we need to start anew. And we're not there. We don't work for the organization. We don't know how things continue to transpire. What's so damning about this is that it goes to January of this year, last month. And it's just like this, the same kind of things that we continue to hear about this organization. This is not the kind of press that you want.
Right.
In front of a pivotal offseason, first of all, from a human standpoint.
Right.
This should never be, happening with an organization, NFL or otherwise. You should treat people well. There are HR departments that handle this kind of thing. Like, you want people to come to work and feel protected, and feel respected. So that's number one. But number two, it's like the optics of the Cardinals trying to build a Super Bowl contender, get to a point where they're here with the Eagles and the Chiefs. It's like you're so far away from that perception right now, and this does not help you.
No, it doesn't. But it also, when you've got good people working for you finally, and that's what I believe Monti Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon are.
Yes.
What's their appetite going to be for if this continues, right?
Well, how about Orlovsky's comment yesterday about Gannon, just super high-level family man that we've known. And now Ossenfort's got, kids and a family and uprooted their life. And that's a tough scene, man.
And you have to take them as allegations, and you got to let this play out.
Yep.
And you got to figure out what you can say to be truth versus what's not true. And that's, I think that you really have to keep an open mind as far as that. But, it's just another one that and they've stacked up. And, at that point, like where there's smoke, often there's fire. Just you have to figure out, okay, I can operate and be held in high regard in this facet of my ownership. How can I put myself be in a position to be held in better regard in the other facets of it?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, and it's something
If they're true.
Yes, and it's something we'll continue to monitor on the show, but it's not how we wanted to finish the week out, and this isn't impacting us directly, so that's insensitive to suggest. But it's like covering this team, you want to cover the football side of things.
Yeah.
You don't want your team you don't want this to be the representation of the Arizona Cardinals, and for too long it has been.
Yeah.
And this isn't fabricated. These are real people who work for the team or worked for the team, have come out and made serious accusations every year. And it's a habit and a trend that needs to stop, frankly. And again, people are saying, well, the answer to that is for him to sell the team. I just don't, there's nothing to suggest that was imminent. That is imminent.
No.
Goodell and Dan Snyder despised each other. Dan Snyder was a renegade to the NFL. Michael Bidwell does enough for the league, maybe not his own franchise, but for the league, where they're just like, yeah, keep doing your thing off to the side. Damon, you want to add to it?
I was just going to make the exact same parallel. I was going to say Dan Snyder got away with it for how long? Like, Michael Bidwell is thought of much more in a positive light.
Sitting in the playoff game with Goodell.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something you would need, and this is like, probably ridiculous, speculation. I mean, like,
I don't know if we should go this
yeah,
way.
okay.
Yeah.
We're not going to go there. But, like, just think about the other instances where owners were forced to sell their teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at, like, the common denominators there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a tough spot. And but we'll continue to talk about it as they come up. I hope this is the last one.
You really hope it's the last one. We've got plenty left here from Radio Row in New Orleans. Johnny caught up with Matt Harmon. Also, our sweet little Damon Dogs growing up just got out there and got after a big-time player in the NFC West with ties to the Cardinals. Have you ever heard of Jackson Smith-Njigba?
My new best friend.
Was it that quick of a connection?
Yeah, I think he told me, we exchanged phone numbers afterwards. He told me, hey, brother, I'll let you know when I'm in Phoenix.
Of course he did.
That sounds exactly what you guys do.
You and Marv, we'll go hang out.
Damon, JSN, Matt Harmon, and Johnny.
Yep. Hold or fold the line. Coming up for the final time, it's PHNX Cardinals. I had a hold or fold the line. Right now is the best time to get with our friends at Bet365. Download the app today. Again, $5 deposit and a $10 bet. Excuse me, a $10 deposit, $5 bet's going to get you $150 in bonus bets that you can use on the big game. And we've got some of our favorite bets ahead, and I think we're all going pretty big, pretty nasty. But if you want to just dip your toe in, if you want to wait for the big game, they've got NHL action, early payouts, basketball tip-off Tuesday for the NBA, college basketball is in full swing, right? Football may be ending, but the fun is just beginning with our friends at Bet365. Download it today. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Deposit just $10. Place a bet of $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Again, you got to be 21 years and older, physically located here in the great state of Arizona, our home state back home. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT-STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
There's a giant pickle behind this. There's Sanderson Ford, which is a gigantic, award-winning dealership. It's the official vehicle partner of PHNX Sports. Love our friends over at Sanderson Ford. Got to check them out. Drive in the new year in the new Ford from Sanderson Ford. The new vehicle makes a new you in 2025. We probably gave up all those resolutions long ago, but you can keep this one. Go out there and talk to their sales staff that thrives on the no hassle, no nonsense, no pressure sales approach that's going to just give you some information on some really great vehicles. They had their end of the year trade-in special, and they got 25 pre-owned vehicles and a warranty under 25 grand. You've got, or 25 grand, and 35,995 under 36 grand is going to get you in a brand new Edge, Bronco Badlands, Ford F-150, It's an endless amount of great vehicles you need to get your hands on and behind the wheel of in 2025. Sanderson Ford, drive into the new year with the new Ford with Arizona's most awarded Ford dealership, Sanderson Ford.
Big fan of our friends at Sanderson Ford. Big fan.
That was beautiful, though.
Thanks, man.
That was you're the voice of an angel.
I'm not sure I would call it that, but Fran Duffy has good insight at GoPHNX.com. I wonder if Fran drives a Ford. He should if he does.
Seems like a Ford guy.
He does. He definitely does. He's also a draft guy, the draft guy at GoPHNX.com. Check out his many prospect breakdowns. Of course, become a diehard. We love welcoming new diehards into the community. And again, it pays for itself. The membership offer that I believe runs through today.
Yeah.
$48 for the year. Seal of a deal. Plus, of course, you're going to get that free piece of merch. And then all of Fran's thoughts on this draft class. How about last year's draft class, headlined by Marvin Harrison Jr.? What is Matt Harmon, Yahoo Sports fantasy expert, think of MHJ's rookie year and how the Cardinals can be more efficient utilizing the former 4th overall pick?
Fantasy football enthusiast, expert with Yahoo Sports, Matt Harmon. And Matt, we talked about it going into this year. Marvin Harrison Jr., we all expected like the prototypical Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase rookie season. Like what happened in your opinion that didn't transpire for him?
Well, so first of all, I do think expectations at the wide receiver position have just like gotten outrageous, because if you honestly, you look at the film, you look at the stats, I think he had a solid rookie season. We're just expecting, like you said, these superstar moments from rookies right now. But I would say that what went wrong was kind of 3 things. Number one, I do think Marvin has to own some of this himself, because when I watched him in college, I thought he was a great prospect, like checked every box. I would say the one like minor weakness I thought in his game was he had some issues at the catch point, particularly like winning contested passes, things like that. I called it a minor issue in his RP profile. Turned out to be like kind of the biggest problem for him as a rookie. That's something that I think has to get better. The good news is I think it can get better. Like you saw, and I'm sure you can attest to this, you saw it late in the year that like he started to really have a better sense of timing his hands and like playing through contact and things like that. So that's the one thing I think player owned has got to get better, because otherwise I think he's a good separator. He's a strong route runner. He's got a really good sense of how to get open at the break point, especially on like intermediate crossing routes. The second thing I think is the Cardinals kind of have to come to terms with the player that he is, not the player that he looks like. And you can heat check me if you think this is a bad theory, but he's a 6'4", massive guy that looks like that prototypical X receiver, like he's Andre Johnson or something like that. To me, he's not that player. He's more of a guy you want to move around the formation. You want to get him slot reps. You want to get him reps at flanker. You want to put him in motion, kind of like how the Cowboys do with CeeDee Lamb. Like he can go out and play X receiver, and he's a guy that's gotten more physical out over the course of his career, but you also want to have him on these in-breaking routes from the slot and things like that. So more of that positional versatility is good. And the third thing I think is him and Kyler have to work on their timing more and like develop that chemistry. So I would say those 3 things kind of were what went wrong. A little bit player owned, a little bit team owned, and a little bit quarterback owned as well.
Yeah, the phrase is like sacrificial X receiver.
That is your boy's phrase there,
yes,
for sure.
Yes, absolutely. So you mentioned Kyler Murray. He got to Arizona. It was big, explosive plays in the passing game. This year, I think they were like almost dead last in passing plays over 40 yards. Is that scheme? Is that Kyler? Is that deterioration of arm strength? Like when you watch it, everything was underneath. Everything was a check down. And we're watching Geno Smith and Sam Darnold light it up at the end of the year, costing the Cardinals games. Like, what has to change for the Cardinals and Kyler Murray?
I think they need more of like a real sacrificial player. You don't want your 4th overall pick, your number 1 receiver, the guy that you build as this what should be the centerpiece of your passing game. Obviously, Trey McBride's a great player too, but you don't want him being the guy clearing space out underneath for other players. You probably need like one more option to really take that top off. Even like a Tutu Atwell type player who's a free agent. I'm not saying they need to go sign Tutu Atwell, but somebody just with that speed you watch the Rams offense, he's never going to be like the 1st, 2nd, even 3rd read in a concept, but he's a critical player to just open up that space underneath for other players. So I think that'll give you, and you want to take shot plays and things like that, but at the same time, it's going to open up space for those crossing routes where Harrison's really good. So I think they kind of need one piece like that, and again, more scheme versatility would probably be a good thing too.
Trey McBride obviously is the centerpiece of the offense right now. Where do you rank him in tight ends going into 2025?
I mean, he's got to be 1st or 2nd for sure. I mean, he's such an impressive player to me, and that was, I think, part of Harrison's struggles from a production standpoint. Nothing to do with him, but just like the numbers that people expected, which again, totally unfair to be like, this is a rookie we're taking.
Who's playing with Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr. at the end of the year?
Right, exactly. Whereas that's the thing with McBride that I think, and I'll put myself in this bucket, I think as a fantasy community we didn't take into account. Like, he had a real deal competition to be the best pass catcher on his team. And I think obviously the pedigree of Harrison versus the pedigree of McBride and just the name value and all that is different. But when you just look at the on-field results, McBride's a really good player who can do everything for you. You can line him up in the slot. He can make plays after the catch. He can win tight contested passes. You get that guy a few more touchdowns next year, like he's definitely somebody that could be a prototypical like elite tight end.
Matt, appreciate it, brother.
Great stuff there from Matt Harmon, breaking down Marvin Harrison Jr.'s first season, and Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to be coming up. Are we going to get to him right now?
Yeah, let's see here. From one analyst to a player analyst on Marvin Harrison
Big
Jr.
interview from Johnny, big interview from Damon.
Bo's here sitting with his feet up.
Hey, Bo, feel free to get involved whenever you
Feel free
like
to chip in. Hey, do you plan on helping out?
I quit.
Let's hear it.
Coming to you live from Radio Row. Our coverage continues here. I'm talking to Jackson Smith-Njigba. Jackson, we are thrilled to have Marvin Harrison Jr. in the Valley. A little bit of a rough rookie season. You played a lot with him at Ohio State. What do you expect from Marvin year two?
I expect greatness from Marvin. He's a great player. Tough season for him, rookie season, but I mean, look at the numbers. The numbers, don't lie. He did what he had to do. He produced well, but the best is yet to come for him.
Yeah, you had a little bit of a rough rookie year as well, and a great year too. Do you see parallels with that?
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, Marvin, he's his own guy. I think, I don't want to put no ceiling on Marvin. Marvin can be, the best player, best receiver next year. Like, he's that talented, and I know how talented he is. His route running is one-on-one, and I'm excited. I mean, I'm not too excited to play him, but, it is good to see him out there on the field.
Thanks, Jackson. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Damon asking the hard-hitting questions. Hey, Jackson Smith-Njigba, remember you were terrible as a rookie?
Kind of sucks that he didn't stay bad.
Yes.
He crushed the Cardinals this season.
Head of production Shane Diefenbach over there gloating about Jackson Smith-Njigba being the best Ohio State receiver in the NFC West currently. But that won't always be the case.
But when you hear guys that are so talented, like JSN is so familiar with Marv, and it's similar to what you hear coming out of the Cardinals locker room in his position room, that he's such a spectacular route runner, and he's got all the physical traits that you need. And you talk to Trey McBride, and you talk to JSN, who both struggled in year one.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to point to guys that didn't struggle year one.
Yeah.
But that's far often the case more than it is the Chases and the Jeffersons and the Puka Nakuas, where guys, they just kind of raise up. Yeah. We might bring up Puka again on this show before we're out of here.
Please no.
Trey McBride had 200 yards, and what did JSN have his rookie year? 600 yards?
No, he had like I think he had like 100 yards. I honestly think he had like no production.
Yeah,
maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
But regardless, he went off for the Seahawks this year, and Trey McBride's continued to be an ascending player. I fully expect a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. to follow in those footsteps.
628, Bo.
Okay, so I was really wrong there. All right, sorry about that. Well, here's where I'm at with it. Cardinals, you have to grade their first-round picks on a curve historically because so many of them have been flat-out mega busts, non-productive, no production as a rookie, hurt. Jonathan Cooper and Michael Floyd was terrible as a rookie. I mean, there's on and on and on, right? Go back 30 years, and I'm going to sit here and complain about 900 yards and 8 touchdowns for a guy that wasn't a priority to get the ball to. You are outside your mind if you feel like if they had a play caller that prioritized Marvin. I'm not saying Drew's not a good play caller, but if he was the priority in the offense and they moved him around, listen to Matt Harmon talk. Move him around, put him underneath, let him be CeeDee Lamb. And if you have the scheme versatility and the creativity as a play caller, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a 1,400-yard receiver in the NFL. Yeah.
Let's thank our streaming partners out there, people tuned in on the tube. If you want to continue to watch, of course, go PHNX.com. Let's go PHNX.com. Hit the live button. We've gone through it from week 1 all the way through week 18. Wild card round, division round, conference championship.
Yeah.
We're not sick little boys, didn't do anything Pro Bowl stuff, but we're doing the Super Bowl. It's time to hold or fold the line one last time.
One last time until next year when we rebrand it and I give it a new name to be Extra Gross with my friends here Damon, read us off, my guy. Season standings, hold or fold the line on a PHNX Cardinals final football Friday
We don't
of
need
this
to see these.
season.
I'm going back to our championship game bets. Bo picked Bills money line L. I picked DeAndre Hopkins 4+ receptions L. He had 1, I think. Josh Allen touchdown, Travis Kelce touchdown. Neither of them.
Was it his favorite? Was it his
So bad.
D-Hop's favorite catch of his career? Was that just one random catch? His favorite one?
We're doing it. Yeah, I mean, you gotta think so. You gotta assume so, considering what they were playing for. Johnny, that looks good on you, man.
So we got to bounce back.
We do.
We do.
Dug ourselves in a bigger hole than even before.
And here's the standings. Bo is sitting at -3.5 units. Johnny at -3.8 units. I mean, it's a big battle, I'd say.
Yeah,
Who's going to finish last there?
Johnny.
Not me. I'm being plus money after this game.
Johnny's bet is he's not going to cash this.
Yes, I am.
No.
You guys are acting like this is not going to hit. This is definitely hitting. This might hit in the first half. Should we jump right into it?
Yes.
I'm at 0.75 units.
Nobody cares.
Choke of epic proportions in the midst. 5 straight L's, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, if you're not in plus money, it's a tie for last place. It's just going to be a 3-way tie for last place if you're not in plus money, Damon. Let's get into it. Hold or fold the line one final time here ahead of the Super Bowl. I will go first because I feel like my bet, neither of you will
It's unrealistic
ride with me. Saquon Barkley off his 3-touchdown performance in the NFC Championship game. Let's run it back, my friend. Saquon, 3 touchdowns with Bet365 plus 1,300. Big smackaroos. Let's do it.
Johnny, if you hit this, man, it's a W. It's first place.
Yes, I will be in
If he
first
hits
place.
it. Yeah, if he hits it.
I mean, here's where I'm at. James Cook was running wild against the Chiefs in the AFC title game. Josh Allen had a tough time sneaking the ball, and I think Jalen Hurts will have a tough time sneaking the ball. And then I do feel like Saquon Barkley, they're going to go down with their best player. If they're going to lose this game, it's going to be not because they went too much to Dallas Goedert or they let Jalen Hurts throw 40 times. You got to empty the clip, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you got to let Saquon Barkley touch the ball 30-plus times. I think he obviously can catch the football out of the backfield. He can have, an explosive run, even against Kansas City. I think
Saquon Barkley lead at carrying the football.
Yes.
3 touchdowns last week. Has anybody had 6 touchdowns in back-to-back games in a playoff game?
In the championship round and then the Super Bowl, that would be, the best playoff performance. I think
would.
of all
It would.
time.
It would.
best player.
It would cap off the greatest season by a running back of all time. That's what that would do.
He's their best player.
And Johnny's like, yeah, that'll probably cash.
That'll hit.
That'll probably cash.
This is the Super Bowl. What do you want me? Oh, Chiefs money line plus an anytime touchdown.
It's pretty good. Let's continue.
Who is that an impression?
But yeah, let's. I think because he basically said my bet.
I don't even know your bet.
No,
Is that your bet?
He literally said my bet.
Oh, he did.
I did Chiefs money line in a Saquon anytime touchdown.
Oh my!
Plus 210. Oh, that's
plus 210.
That's a little cutie pie.
Listen,
Plus 210.
I didn't build myself a big hole like you guys did, where you need to have a huge bet hit this week to finish positive. I just want to see it hit. I want to see it hit the green.
That's you backing into the offseason.
I'm gonna bully you so hard next year when we do this.
like you didn't bully him all season long. I'm gonna go with mine. Jalen Hurts anytime tutty. I also have Marquise Hollywood Brown over 40 yards receiving, and give me the Chiefs -1. I like the chefs in this game. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, edge at quarterback, edge at head coach over Sirianni and Hurts. I think it's going to be a big fat winner, plus 625, and I'm going to be in the monies by the end of the year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I will ride with you. I like that just fine. Listen, if you're gonna go big, I'll go big alongside you. I don't think that the Philadelphia Eagles will have any success throwing the football. I think if they're gonna have any success, it's gonna be on the ground. You can run on the Chiefs. The corners for Kansas City are exceptional. I thought they really did a nice job against Buffalo's receivers. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, different animal, but yeah, I'm with you, Bo. I like that pick.
I'm gonna fold it, Bo.
Okay.
Because Hollywood's not getting 40+ yards. It's a meaningful football game. Enough said. Johnny, I'm folding yours too.
Okay.
What the hell are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I'm going to be the big winner this weekend.
You are with that hat.
I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you.
We're going to holster the stories about Johnny's interactions with some big-time receivers
No, we're never bringing those
Those
up.
are the Monday show.
We'll never
Okay.
get to it.
All right, I needed a set date because
Yeah.
I needed to know that we are going to, in fact, talk about
Yeah.
this.
I mean, the story's already in the exclusive member Discord. So if you will become a diehard, you can
It
watch
is?
the video.
Oh, no. What's happening? Come on now.
So go PHNX.com. Become a diehard for a low price of $48 for the year. We're trying to add as many as possible. So become a diehard today. It's well worth it. The chat never stops as we appreciate everybody who's been along for the ride with us this week in New Orleans. Unbelievable week of guests, from Patrick Peterson to Trey McBride to Dan Orlovsky, Louis Riddick, Albert Breer. The list, it goes on and on. Make sure you're subscribed to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Watch every single piece of content your heart desires, talking about this Cardinals football team along with Johnny, myself, and Damon. Great work behind the scenes from the entire All-City crew. Shane Diefenbach, our guys from CHO, DMVR, DLLS, PHLY. It's an incredible crew. So excited to be a part of this. It was special. Nothing short of special.
Yes, absolutely. We joke around a lot on this show, but the people, not only in front of the camera but behind the scenes, make this possible. Big thanks to everybody back in our Phoenix office. Big thanks to Damon, Shane, everybody here, Allie, the whole All-City crew.
That's right.
Fran Duffy, everybody who can help and does help make this show what it is. We appreciate you all. This is the biggest, best Super Bowl coverage All-City has ever done. I remember the first time we did this, and we had 2 networks. Now we've got what? 5 networks here at All-City, simultaneous live streams just across the way from Pat McAfee, right where we belong here at All-City. So big thanks to everybody that watched this week.
Yeah, Espo, Saul, Leah, Emma, our staff of interns who are just crushing and churning out so many great pieces of content for you up at PHNX Sports.
How about Emma Clark getting back on the sticks a little bit?
I was hoping she was going to come off mute.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have loved to have seen that. Old PHNX Cardinals alumni meetup.
I have to cut you short because we have to finish our, we got to get our Ironman streak continued and go to Bounty and get our wings and cap off a big week. But we capped off a big week of shows, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm excited for everybody to put away the equipment while I go get wings. That's very on brand for your boy. As I watch people put away heavy equipment that I will never touch, nor do I know how to put it away correctly. But here's what I do know. I know that you need to like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. We are back following the weekend and the big game. We will see you. Guess what? Monday officially starts the offseason, and we will own the offseason here like we always do on PHNX Cardinals. For Shane, Damon, Bo, I'm Johnny Venerable, signing off from New Orleans. We'll see you next time.
We all silly like the mayor.